Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. And if you enjoy the fanfic, then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic.
What if Naruto's prank on Anko created a hidden legend? Chapter 1. Konoha. A wonderful village filled with noble, dedicated shinobi willing to throw down their lives for the village, and its current Hokage responsible for keeping the leaf safe from outside forces. The Sandaime Hokage, a man. Great wisdom, and strength despite his age being that of an old man. A man, who was just a child during the age when the era of shinobi villages was in its infancy, and was the student of the first Hokage himself. So why was he having such a horrible day? When there was no war, no threats of secret invasions being planned by a former student turned missing nin, and none of the evil that was paperwork. Simply put, one Uzumaki Naruto was causing chaos in his village via a prank on somebody, and it just so happened his latest victim had been none other than Mitarashi Anko. And from the sounds going on outside, she had yet to catch and hurt the ever-energetic child currently holding the infamous Kyuubi no Kitsune. "Come back here, you asshole!" yelled Anko while chasing the 10-year-old boy all throughout Konoha, tearing up shopping carts, stalls, knocked over everyone in her path while scaring animals and innocent children while in pursuit of her target. Why was she so angry? Well, to understand that, let's go back in time 10 minutes ago, and see what caused this somewhat semi-unstable woman to go crazy. Flashback 10 minutes ago. Naruto grinned evilly, as he saw his target eating dango, enjoying the stuff like there was no tomorrow, almost in the same manner in which he ate ramen, and watched his target have a drink again before eating. He had been planning this prank for a week, watching her habits when it came to eating, as it was the only time he could observe his prey being relaxed enough to let her guard down, and for him to strike. His plan for the prank? Simple. Go for her dango. How did he plan on doing it? Simple. A distraction. One that would be happening in 3, 2, 1. Now. And sure enough, a pushcart filled with cabbages being pulled by an elderly man fell over near the dango stand due to a loose wheel that coincidentally enough wasn't even that loose earlier in the morning, and the mess itself making the elderly man himself cried out, "My cabbages!" in dramatic fashion. Still, it was enough to get the attention of the people around him, and that was exactly what Naruto wanted while waiting for his target to turn her head at the sight. When she did, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki struck, as he put some of his own special sauce on top of the dango already covered in dipping sauce of the same color so she'd never be the wiser, and then her sake before scampering off to another nearby alley to watch his handiwork. When Anko returned back to her dango, she muttered something along the lines of, "Crazy old men and their cabbages," before eating some of her dango, and it was in that moment a sense of something was off. The taste of her dango was off. No, not just off. It was way off. Like something foul had literally been put onto her dango and making her want to puke. Thinking quickly, the female shinobi reached for the sake bottle, and chugged it down to remove the foul taste in her mouth. Unfortunately for Anko, the same foul thing that attacked her taste buds through her precious dango had also attacked her sake, and instantly spit out the contents from her mouth. Something the owner of the dango stand disliked in an instant since he was the victim of her purge of the edible contents that had been in her mouth. Anko, however, wasn't even paying attention to the man, what he was saying, or the fact he had banned her from the stand for the next month. The fact remained in the woman's mind was that someone had ruined her dango and her sake in one shot. In short, Mitarashi Anko, former student of Orochimaru, and student of Ibiki in INT, was pissed off. "Who the FCK ruined my dango and sake!" yelled Anko in a fit of angry rage while everyone froze, no one breathed, and hoped she acted like a T-Rex with her vision being based on movement for who was the guilty party. and soon heard the sound of laughing coming from an alley, with the source of it being Uzumaki Naruto, and it was in that moment Anko had the child in her crosshairs before the blonde realized he had been discovered. Curse his inability to hide his laughter. But can you blame him? It was funny. Oh, look at the time. Bye, said Naruto before running pretty fast for an 10-year-old. Come back here, you shit, yelled Anko, as she chased after him, and was quite surprised he was able to outrun her. Catch me if you can, Snake-chan, yelled Naruto, as he ran from one area to the next, Anko right on his heels, trying to catch him, and always missing when she got close. She tried to grab him once and Naruto instantly made a direct right turn so suddenly that Anko tripped while skidding several feet to eat dirt. The back of her trench coat flying up and landing on the back of her head while the mocking laughter of the brat reaching her ears. Growling angrily, the angry shinobi shot up, looked in Naruto's direction, and gave chase once more, with the blonde running from the angry woman intent on causing him a great deal of pain for the humiliation delivered down upon her. Another attempt to catch the child failed when the boy dove under a moving horse and cart carrying chicken, with Anko not being so lucky in hitting the cart itself. Chickens flew everywhere. The eggs the chickens were laying flew with them, smashing into the ground and onto Anko's body. Several chicken eggs had broken all on her face, around her eyes, and now had a chicken on the top of her head. Growling angrily, Anko removed the egg remnants on her face to see Naruto laughing at her again, and saw red once more with the target mocking each failed attempt. No more MS. Nice, Anko, yelled Anko before she summoned a snake summons the size of a horse and got on top of it while Naruto looked a little nervous. Oh poop, said Naruto before running even faster. Get the brat, yelled Anko, as her snake summons slither after the child, and tried to devour the kid whole. Unfortunately, for the snake summons anyway, the child was able to make a sudden turn faster than the reptilian creature anticipated, and overshot the turn to run into a building. At the same time, Naruto just happened to run into Maida Guy, who looked at the blonde curiously. Help, help, there is this evil giant snake trying to eat me, said Naruto while using the "I'm an innocent child. Protect me" jutsu on the green beast of Konoha, and instantly the noble side of Maida Guy, the defender of children, came out. Fear not, young child. I, Maida Guy, shall defend you from this evil creature, and make it fall with the springtime of youth, yelled Guy, who failed to realize that Naruto had already run off during his yell, and gained some additional distance from Anko. When Anko freed her pet from the building, it followed where Naruto went last, and was instantly stopped by Guy using a flying kick to its face. The attack angered the summons and the two did battle while Anko seethed at her pet being distracted by Guy before she continued pursuit of the child responsible for ruining her meal. Where is he? Come on out, you little shit, thought Anko, as she looked around, and found the people running about with only a guy reading a paper on a nearby bench being the only option for her to find out the kid's direction. You looking for blonde kid with whiskers? He went that-a-way, said the person behind the paper in a Native American-like voice while pointing in the direction down the street. Thanks, said Anko before running off to chase the brat down, not realizing she had just been scammed again. No problem, Snake-chan, said Naruto after putting the paper down and took off in the opposite direction. Where is he? Said Anko looking for the brat. You just talked to him, said Kakashi, who was passing by, and pointed in the direction of the boy currently running away in the opposite direction. What? Yelled Anko before she took off in hot pursuit of Naruto once more. Poor Gaki. I hope he has a plan to escape Anko's wrath. She is Ibiki's student in the INT division after all, thought Kakashi before going back to his book. Get back here, you asshole, yelled Anko, with the present course of time now catching up with everything and the sounds of chaos being heard throughout He village. End flashback. So that in short was the reason Anko was chasing Naruto all throughout Konoha, causing damage, destruction, and chaos that would have made Orochimaru proud had he been around to see it. Back and forth from one side of the village to the next it was happening. Running through the remains of the Uchiha district, the poor district, the rich district with the merchants lived, merchant district where the business were located, and of course the clan homes to name a few. At the rate this destruction was growing, Orochimaru would not even need to use his plan to one day invade Konoha with the help of Suna, and their Jinchuriki currently having some issues of his own. Like sleeping, and the lack of sanity. Enough, yelled the Sandaime Hokage, who appeared in front of Naruto in dramatic scary fashion with lightning somehow flashing in the sky above him. Oh shit, said Anko skidding to a stop and tried to run before being scooped up by the Hokage after he grabbed it. You two are going to my office and I will get answers, said the Hokage while having Anko under his arm and Naruto over his shoulder. It was high time he laid down the law with the crazy boy and psycho girl before these two did further damage to Konoha. Hokage's office. I don't know what prompted you to go chasing after Naruto like that, Anko, but it was not healthy for this village, nor was it productive, and I would like an explanation for it, said the Hokage with Anko tied to the chair while Naruto crossed his arms like the child he was while pouting at having his fun ruined. He ruined my dango. My precious dango and sake were ruined by this little brat, said Anko angrily at losing her favorite treat. Naruto, is this allegation true? Said the Hokage with Naruto pouting and looking away for a second. Yeah, it is, but I wouldn't have done it had she not wronged me last week, said Naruto while pointing an accusing finger at Anko. What the hell did I do? Said Anko with the Sandaime raising an eyebrow at him with the same question popping up in his head too. You knocked me over, spilled my ramen I just bought from Ichiraku, and you laughed while telling me to watch where I was going. You even kicked dirt on me, said Naruto with the Hokage looking at Anko with curious eyes. I did no such thing, you little brat, said Anko, but the fact was she had gotten wasted that night and didn't remember most of anything from the whole day, and what she did was fuzzy. Do you have any proof of this, Naruto? Said the Hokage while knowing the boy would have only done this prank on Anko in the event he had been wronged. Nothing I can use. Wait, I heard in class that there is a clan that walks through people's heads. Have them go through hers or mine, said Naruto since he had heard about the clans of Konoha and how one of them could enter another person's mind to seek out the truth. What? You can't be serious, said Anko while starting to sweat a little nervously since this kid was willing to go so far to let a Yamanaka enter his head or hers just to seek out the truth. Are you sure that's really necessary, Naruto? Said the Hokage, though he really didn't want to call Inoichi out from his duties at the flower ship to settle this dispute between these two hyperactive people. Why not? I'm not lying. I swear on my love of ramen I'm not lying, so bring on the mind probe or whatever you want to call it, said Naruto defiantly with the Hokage looking at the nervous-looking Anko and knew she was hiding something. When Naruto swears he's not lying on his love for ramen, chances are he is not lying. Anko, you want to swear your innocence on your love for dango before I break the tie by calling in Inoichi to see which one of you is lying, said the Hokage with Anko now looking sheepish. The thing is, Hokage-sama, I kind of got wasted that day, and can't remember most of the day, so swearing without a doubt on my love for dango is not possible, said Anko with the Hokage narrowing his eyes at her. I see. Anko, you do realize because of that admittance, Naruto's case against you just got stronger, and the reason for his prank being justified, said the Hokage with Anko now nodding while having a sinking feeling she was screwed. Yeah, though the Gaki still shouldn't have gone after my dango, said Anko with some defiance in her voice. You knocked over my ramen. You came out of the corner with your eyes closed while munching on the stuff while I was heading straight home to eat. It was your fault hands down, said Naruto before sticking his tongue out at her. I'll give you hands down when I get free and wail on your ass, said Anko before she struggled to get free from her bindings, but a fist came down from the Hokage and made her stop. Enough, Anko. I must admit to you that Naruto has never lied to me when it comes to his reasons for pranking people, and has always hated being called a liar. Same with you though, for different yet similar reasons. When Naruto swears on his love for ramen, the chances of him lying to me are lower than zero, and the fact he's willing to swear on his love for the food while you won't for your own just gives him more support, said the Hokage with Anko looking nervous. But I can't remember what happened the day of that particular week due to drinking so much, said Anko with the Hokage sighing. I know. However, Inoichi can retrieve the memories despite your intoxication, and find out the truth in the highly unlikely chance Naruto is lying, said the Hokage, though the pout on the boy's face told him the kid would sooner do something stupid than put his love for ramen at risk. Kushina was the same way after all. Bring him here, Hokage-sama. While I'm sure the Gaki is telling the truth, we have to be sure, and to be honest. I want to be sure too, said Anko with the Hokage nodding. You do realize that if Naruto's allegations about the spilled ramen by your own hands are in fact true, then his prank was justified, and the destruction you caused during the chase is yours alone to take. The punishment I give will be severe, said the Hokage with Anko nodding. I can take it, said Anko with the Hokage nodding and paged Inoichi to come into his office. You wished to see me, Hokage-sama, said Inoichi, seeing a bound Anko and a happy Naruto. What did he just get dragged into? Yes, there is a dispute between these two, and only looking through Anko's mind can we learn the truth. I need you to look back into her memories relating to last week when she got intoxicated and see if she ran into Naruto with the result of the boy losing ramen he had just purchased, said the Hokage, knowing due to Naruto's situation, the Yamanaka clan's jutsus for mind-walking were risky at best, and deadly at worst on account of the Kyuubi chewing on any intruders that entered. Okay, I'll do it. Mind transfer jutsu, said Inoichi, who grabbed a chair first, sat in it, and then used the clan jutsu on Anko before his body slumped. That's so cool, said Naruto, seeing Anko tense up and her eyes rolled back into her head like she was possessed. Indeed it is, Naruto, said the Hokage before Inoichi got back in his body minutes later. Well, it wasn't easy. Anko here did get pretty hammered, and the images of that day were fuzzy even after I worked on recovering them, but the boy's story checks out, and he lost his ramen by bumping into her. She even kicked dirt on him afterwards, though probably because he stuck his tongue out at her, said Inoichi with Naruto pouting and crossing his arms in front of himself. Told you I wasn't lying, said Naruto with Anko now coming around. It's true, said Anko with the Hokage nodding, and waited until Inoichi left. I'm afraid so, Anko, said the Hokage, who sighed while rubbing his aging forehead, and then looked at the woman currently getting so close to reaching special Junin in just a few years. So what is my punishment then? Said Anko with the Hokage, thinking this over. Well, to be honest, Anko, the punishment I give you can only be given if Naruto was unable to give it, and since that isn't the case, it's up to him, said the Hokage, seeing the woman pale and then look at Naruto currently looking surprised. Really? I get to choose her punishment? No matter what it is? Said Naruto curiously while Anko paled, knowing this kid possible had her by the sensitive female parts of her body. Wait, Hokage-sama, surely you won't let Naruto decide my punishment? What if it's cruel? What if it's inhumane? Said Anko with the Hokage looking between the two of them. Well, according to the Konoha laws, as long as the punishment itself doesn't involve committing acts of murder, treason, genocide, or anything that could possibly endanger the entire village in general, anything goes. Said the Hokage with Anko going pale in the face and looked at Naruto to see his reaction. Sweet. So the punishment can be just about anything, right? Said Naruto while grinning evilly, and it made Anko nervous since such a grin made her former sensei's own look like a joke. Even the Hokage thought so, but the Sandaime dared not speak it, and decided to keep such things in his head in the event it provoked the boy to unleashing that pranking mind on him. Hesitantly nodding, the old Kage of Konoha wondered what cruel punishment. Don't deprive me of Dango. Don't deprive me of Dango. Don't deprive me of Dango. Don't deprive me of Dango, thought Anko, knowing she would go insane without it. Well, insane since this crazy snake lady loves Dango so much, I hereby ban you from ever having Dango. Forever, said Naruto, going right for the jugular in the figurative sense, with Anko weeping and the old Kage shuddering since the boy was cruel in terms of dishing out punishment to anyone that scorned him. So much like his mother, it was scary. Don't do that to me. I'll do anything else for a punishment. Anything else. I will clean up dog crap from the Inuzuka clan's kennels in a bikini. Get a tattoo that says, I love ramen, on my ass. Just don't deny me Dango, said Anko, as she fell to her knees before the boy, still restrained, and weeping at the loss of eating Dango. Anything, said Naruto while this suddenly opportunity of sorts was upon him, and the third Hokage knew Anko had just opened Pandora's box. Anything, said Anko while pleading with her eyes filled with tears. Okay, in exchange for being allowed to eat Dango, you must be my slave instead, and do whatever it is I ask of you, said Naruto, seeing Anko's eyes bulge out of their sockets. Provided the orders given to Anko don't put the Leaf Village or myself being the acting Hokage at risk, said the Hokage, as he wanted to stress that point to both of them, and saw Anko teetering from agreeing to disagreeing with the offer. And Dango, said Anko in an almost childlike voice. You act like a good slave and I'll get you a whole big box of the stuff to help keep the cravings down. But, if you act like a bad slave, then you don't get any for a month, and several weeks afterwards if any additional bad behavior happens during that time, said Naruto while talking like a grown-up setting down rules to a child. If this situation wasn't so funny, the Hokage would be impressed, and not stunned by how this all turned out. Anko, be very careful about this. I know your addiction to Dango is powerful, but do you really want to give up a good deal of freedom for it, and put your life in the hands of a child? Said the Hokage while Naruto pouted at being called a child. I won't be a child when I graduate from the academy, protested Naruto, though it was clear the Hokage was ignoring him. I can't help it. To me, Dango is the most wonderful food ever, and the kid's punishment of depriving it from my mouth is absolute torture. Ibiki himself would be impressed by the kid's way of doing things if he wasn't so busy all the time. Besides, I've been under the thumb of someone far worse, and if it means being under the gakis to eat it, I think I can manage, said Anko while Naruto petted her head like she was a dog. Very well, Naruto, as witness to this event, and your punishment while harsh is indeed satisfactory to the crimes Mitarashi Anko committed. I hereby declare her your slave, but since she is also a shinobi, I have the right to enlist her for missions, and defend Konoha overall from harm using the unique talents she possesses. Do you understand? Said the Hokage with Naruto nodding and continued petting Anko's head. Don't worry old man, I won't let Anko-chan lose her job. If anything, she can help teach me things the academy can't about being a shinobi, and aside from the occasional house cleaning at my apartment, I don't think we'll have any problems getting along with one another, said Naruto with a foxy grin, and the Hokage almost shuddered knowing that grin meant anyone from the Uzumaki clan was not to be crossed or taken lightly when they dished out punishment to their foes. Jiraiya found that out the hard way with Kushina and even a certain extent with Tsunade, given the Sanin's Uzumaki ancestry on her grandmother's side of the family. Okay. I have the means of making it all official, which is this slave collar that when put around her neck, and your blood smeared on the tag will then activate the seals to bind her to you, Naruto. This practice hasn't been done since the time of the second Hokage, but even then it was rare, and only done by a few, said the third, who gave Naruto the slave collar, and he put it on Anko before putting some blood on the tag after biting his thumb. Sure enough, the seals activated on the collar, binding Anko to her new master, and was soon free from her restraints by the kid. Come on, Anko-chan, we need to head home. I want my house cleaned up by the end of the day, said Naruto with Anko nodding and following him out the door while hearing his other commands involving making him ramen for dinner. That Naruto, he's truly unpredictable, thought the Hokage while taking a drag from his pipe, looking out the window, and wondered how this would turn out. Anko was bad enough in her own ways, but Naruto was even worse with antics, and he was still a child until he graduated from the academy. Still, Anko herself could teach him what the instructors neglected due to their own misconceptions about the boy, and what he held. The only thing the Hokage could do was hope they balanced themselves out accordingly and Naruto wasn't too harsh with his new slave. At the thought of what might happen when Naruto was older, the Sandaime sported a blush, and had a nosebleed with perverted thoughts running through his head. Naruto's apartment. This is your apartment, I mean Naruto-sama, said Anko looking around to see the place the kid was staying. It didn't look like much. Hell, her place looked better, and it was filthy too. Though in the boy's defense, he was living alone, and doing things full-grown adults had a hard time doing on their own. Even more so was the building looked more than ready to be labeled condemned, and had a sneaking suspicion it wasn't in the hopes the building would one day collapse with the kid in it. I know it's not much, but you got to make do with what you've got, and survive when life gets you down, said Naruto with a smile on his face, though Anko knew there was pain behind it. Naruto-sama, can I offer a suggestion? Said Anko with Naruto raising an eyebrow at her. What's the suggestion? Said Naruto curiously. Well, I have my own place, which to be honest, is a lot bigger, and nicer than what you have here. Not to mention that what was once mine is now yours. We can move you in there since my stuff wouldn't fit in here at all, said Anko, hoping he would see things her way on this. I guess, said Naruto, since he was unsure of moving out since this place, regardless of its condition, had always been his home, and it was like removing a part of himself. It's close to the ramen stand you like so much, said Anko, which was true, but the real reason she wanted him hooked on the deal was due to the dango stand being even closer. Sold, yelled Naruto with joy. Great, now we just pack up all your things and we can move you there right away, said Anko, knowing this might not be so bad after all since the Gaki was willing to listen to her way of reasoning, provided an incentive of ramen was involved. And after that, you are going to help train me become the best shinobi ever to prove I'm something special, said Naruto, as he saw Anko nod, and agree to that order since she didn't have a problem with it. In fact, the woman mentally smirked, knowing that molding this kid to be something great would require a lot of help, but considering she was the slave, and so long as it wasn't any of the taboos the Hokage mentioned. Why not? The kid was an Uzumaki and were said to filled with all sorts of potential, though she was sure the Kyuubi factoring being sealed into his gut was a reason for the Sannin not trying anything. The man never was skilled in the understanding of seals like Jiraiya had been, and there was always a risk of the seal made by the Yondaime Hokage weakening to the point where the fox got out. Something even Orochimaru knew was too dangerous for him to handle, no matter what failsafe he might come up with. If that's what you wish, Naruto-sama. Oh, could I ask one little tiny favor of you? Said Anko while making the hand gesture to help indicate it was tiny so he'd consider it. What? Said Naruto, since he was feeling a bit generous right now. Well, I don't want everyone to know I'm your slave, as I have a few friends who might not like hearing it, and then they would seek to well, make you free me from your service to the point where it could become, what's the word, troublesome," said Anko while she cursed the Nara clan for using that word so much and hoped the current clan head got hit really hard in the head with the frying pan tonight. "Yeah, I can imagine. I think I've seen one of them. Is it that other woman with the nice red eyes and call Chan?" said Naruto with Anko's eyes widen in surprise since she didn't know he had been watching her to make the prank that long. "Yeah, to be honest, I'm not liked by many people in the village due to being the former student of a now bad person, and she's one of the few friends I've got that trust me. If she found out I was your slave, she would do something using her own set of skills in order to use some really terrifying skills to make you free me," said Anko, knowing Kurenai would do something with genjutsu to hurt Naruto before making him free her and then hurt him all over again despite the reason for the servitude. "Oh, I see. Did this bad person hurt you?" said Naruto seeing Anko nod. "Yeah, he did hurt me, though most of the village doesn't care about that. I'm guilty by association, which means just for being taught by him makes me just as bad, and no one wants anything to do with me," said Anko sadly while wondering why she was pouring her heart out to this kid and suspected the seals in the collar on her neck had something to do with it. "Well, if I ever meet him, he's going down, and I'll make him regret ever hurting you," said Naruto passionately yet with nativity since he didn't know her teacher was quite the notorious missing nin and one of the 3 Sannin. Even now he's being sweet. Granted, it's probably because I'm his now and a master never lets his slave get hurt by anyone regardless it was in the past. Then again, my past isn't exactly in the past, and has always been at the forefront of my mind up until this moment in time, thought Anko before feeling the presence of Naruto from the sudden hug and his face digging innocently into her skirt causing the woman to feel something she shouldn't right now. The one day she didn't wear panties and this happens. And Naruto-sama, I appreciate the hug, but next time wait until I'm eye level, or close to it to do something like that, said Anko before prying him off and kneeling down so he wouldn't see the possible stain on her skirt he had unknowingly caused. And a reason she did not wish to tell him. "Oh, okay. Come on and help me pack what I need. I'll just leave what I don't want here for the landlord to do whatever it is he'd do with it. Most of it's junk anyway, but it's all I could get to keep things going around here, and even then it doesn't work half the time," said Naruto before heading to his bedroom to begin packing and missed Anko's pained look at hearing that. "Poor kid. I need to talk to the Hokage about the Gaki's landlord and more importantly the rent he pays. This place is ready to fall over and I smell a fix," thought Anko knowing something was going on and it was her duty as a Konoha shinobi, not to mention slave of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki living here, to get taught the bottom of this. It didn't take long for them to pack up what Naruto wanted. Some clothes, food that was not spoiled, even his secret garden he had made for himself, and then there a few books from the academy he needed to study. Though Anko frowned at seeing how bad their condition had been and clearly blamed the people running the academy. In fact, a good chunk of the material in these books was outdated, practically relics from the Shadaime Hokage's time, and some of the pages seemed to be missing in a few, so anything Naruto could learn from these pages was impossible. It had reminded Anko during her walk with the kid to his new home just how mean people had been in regards to her own connection to Orochimaru being the student-teacher relationship. She intended on fixing that on 2 fronts. 1 was to train Naruto properly so he could rub his success into the face of all those morons, and 2 was to make sure a good deal of those morons felt her wrath after informing the Hokage of the kid's lack of having a proper education. "Wow. This place is nice. A bit messy, but much better than mine, and it can be cleaned up since I do like things clean. It was kind of hard to do it at my old place since I'm still so young," said Naruto seeing Anko had this entire place to herself, which was much bigger than his old one, and just like his old one had been messy too. "Yeah, I kind of had a semi-slob nature, but that's due to living alone, and now that's no longer that case. Cleaning up is in order," said Anko, though inwardly she was crying, as she would be the one doing the cleaning up, and mentally strangling herself. Still, it was either clean up her own mess or the kids in the much smaller apartment she risked moving into had this brilliant idea not come to pass. Talk about the lesser of two evils. "Okay, I'll get my things settled and then get things clean up," said Naruto simply, while Anko realized she didn't have an actual spare bedroom for him to sleep in. "Yeah, one more thing, Naruto-sama. I kind of don't have a spare bedroom, and the one bedroom I do have is mine," said Anko, while wincing at the kid's sudden frown while she mentally strangled herself in her head for that comment at the risk of not having Dango for a month right off the bat. "Don't worry, Anko-chan. We can sleep in it together," said Naruto, with his face changing from a frown to "I just solved the problem" smile on his face. "Are you sure? I could sleep on the couch. After it's been sanitized, of course," said Anko before seeing her couch had seen better days. "Nah, it wouldn't be fair to you," said Naruto, while not getting the fact this woman was nervous about him being in the bed with her and how bodies tend to do things while they were asleep. Like hands moving, grabbing, and molesting things within their reach when they made contact with something, if not someone. Not to mention other body parts can become active and other things can happen while dreaming. "I just need to get through the first night with him and then make a bedroom for either of us to sleep in without the other," thought Anko, knowing if the Hokage found out about the arrangement he'd go nuts. Sure enough, the day went by faster than Anko would have liked, as night came down upon the village, and it was time for bed. Naruto got his things squared away and the apartment was cleaned, though Anko cleaned it herself. Even if she wasn't Naruto's new slave, it had to be cleaned anyway since it was her mess, and if she was honest with herself, it was long overdue. The whole sleeping thing was a bit tense at first, at least for Anko it was, since the kid was wearing a white spiral shirt and boxers in the bed. Anko herself was never into wearing one of those nightgowns women wore to bed, as they made her feel weird, and thus wore undergarments, though she waited until Naruto was looking away before getting into the bed. The last thing she needed was to turn him into a pervert and thus get everyone in the leaf in an uproar about herself seducing the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. It would destroy whatever positive opinion the village had of them forever. "Night, Anko-chan," said Naruto while sleeping with his back to her, while Anko held him with one arm and smiled at the innocent contact to further increase the comfort of the bed to bring about a sense of comfort. "Night, Naruto-sama," said Anko, though she was hesitant to put her arm around the boy or anywhere on the boy. With her one free hand, she touched the collar on her neck, feeling the sensation of it, and wondered what this meant for now. Not only for herself, but for Naruto and the rest of the village. As they slept, Kyuubi stirred in his cage, sensing the shift of things in connection to what his vessel just did, and grinned since life just got more interesting. Being in this child for 10 years had been boring, with the occasional pranks on people being mildly entertaining, and yet they only went so far in that department. Now, however, the game of life suddenly changed with this single prank, and the brat had actually done something interesting. He had acquired a slave. Not just any slave, mind you, but a shinobi of considerable strength, rank, and potential in helping the brat get stronger, since those damn teachers did little of that in the first place. "Congratulations, brat. You have just done something incredible here. Now I must do something in turn to make sure this isn't squandered. At the very least, it should be quite amusing and fun to see when the end result manifests itself," said Kyuubi, as he used some of his chakra to leave the seal and enter the sleeping boy while letting out a chuckle. In a way, the fox wished the boy's mother hadn't been so short from birth, as it was clear Kushina's son had inherited that problem, and the fact he ate ramen all the time didn't help much either. So many things in it that stunted growth, which the fox suspected was another reason why Kushina was short when she was a child, and would have prevented that had the previous seals not stopped him. Fortunately, the current seal that bound the Kyuubi no Kitsune while powered by the Shinigami himself, did not stop the fox from sending its power beyond the seal into Naruto, and make some changes to the child. Granted, he could have done it sooner, but the boy had yet to impress him to earn such a gift, and this one action in grabbing a strong female shinobi for a slave to possibly make him stronger was most impressive in the Biju's mind. Nothing like a little change and accelerating certain things to get a new day going. The next morning, Anko was moaning with a sense of pleasure running through her body, as she struggled to stay in world of dreams and fake realities since the reality she currently lived in when waking up just plain shicked. First, she had lost her dango, her sake, and then her freedom to the boy responsible for orchestrating the loss of the two formerly mentioned items after the destruction from the chase had forced the Hokage to lay down the law. She hated the stupid laws and the technicalities behind them for screwing her over. Second, Anko had to clean up her own home for her new master, since his home was small and messier than her own home. Third, she was sleeping in a bed with the kid because there was no other bedroom, and he was sleeping right next to, oh shit. Suddenly awake, Anko shot up from her bed, incidentally waking Naruto up, and rolled up in tangled bed sheets off the bed. Groaning, the boy then growled angrily at being so rudely awakened by the woman, and tore the bed sheet off to glare at Anko. What was that for? Don't tell me you've decided to be a bad slave on the second day, said Naruto, though he was so angry at being so rudely awakened that he didn't realize his voice was deeper and the bed didn't seem so big anymore. Meanwhile, Anko looked at Naruto with shock and awe at seeing the Kyuubi Jinchuriki had what appeared to be a sudden growth spurt overnight. He was much taller than what she had chased yesterday to avenge the loss of her precious dango. His shirt was several times too small for him now and showing some signs of lean muscle with the fat burned off from the growing to show his potential. His whisker marks were thicker, hair was long while looking wild, and blue eyes showing he was less than pleased with her way of waking him up. What happened to you? Said Anko, seeing Naruto frown at her and then look down at himself to see he was different. I don't know. I don't feel so good, said Naruto before growing in pain, making Anko look at him with concern. Let's go to the hospital, said Anko, as she quickly got dressed, grabbed the boy, and went poof. They were at the hospital with a doctor calling the Hokage. What happened to Naruto? Said the Sandame, seeing the boy had indeed grown, but the look on his face showed it was possibly not by choice, and saw the blonde was in pain every time he moved. He had a growth spurt, Hokage-sama. A big one that apparently happened overnight. The reason he's in pain I suspect was due to his growth being forced by something else, said the doctor, who looked at the Hokage with a, "It's the fox" face, and the old man would not dispute that fact since it was the most logical cause of the sudden growth spurt. How long am I going to be in pain? Said Naruto, seeing the doctor turn to face him. A few days, I'm afraid. Your body will have to adjust to this sudden changes from this growing process. Muscles have been torn, stretched, and repairing themselves the whole night, so there is soreness with every move your body makes, said the doctor while he asked Naruto to take off his shirt so the Hokage could see further proof of the changes made while keeping the fact Kyuubi was involved out of it. Oh my, said the Hokage, seeing the primal if not feral looking tattoo marking that were on Naruto's torso, with the shoulders having them too, with room to groan down the arms if allowed. Someone mind telling me what this means? Said Naruto while finding himself feeling so many different things running through his mind. He felt anger, aggression, frustration over something, and a hunger rumbling deep in his body. Naruto felt his usual bundle of energy, which had been compressed, struggling to find release in his small body, had somehow expanded outward with his new body, and no longer felt suffocated by his once small stature. He honestly felt backed up before now with his energy trying to be expelled, which was one of the reasons for not sitting still in class and doing pranks throughout Konoha. Now, the energy was still there, but was less restrained, and Naruto was in more control of himself. He could now focus on things better despite what was going through him at the moment. "Doctor, I need to speak with Naruto. Could you take Anko out of the room?" said the Hokage while the doctor nodded and moved to take Anko out of the room. Had a feral growl from Naruto not come out of the boy's throat with fangs showing? Whoa, thought Anko, as she saw the look in his eyes, and the bloodlust coming off of him. "Naruto," said the Sandaime Hokage firmly, but it took a moment for Naruto to bring his instincts back, and looked at the old man. "Sorry old man, I just didn't want him to touch her. She's mine, remember," said Naruto while seeing the doctor was confused, but the Hokage winced at what he was referring to, and nodded while Anko felt heat fly to her cheeks with a blush. "Of course Naruto. Doctor, the boy is just protective of his new guardian, and in light of his current change has no doubt developed protective instincts for her. Besides, Anko is already aware of Naruto's condition, and most likely the source behind it," said the third Hokage with the doctor nodding and leaving the three behind. "You knew the source of it the whole time," said Naruto angrily while trying to get his anger under control and not look at Anko so her sad face wouldn't make him feel guilty. "Please calm down Naruto. I know what might be the cause of it too. Something I didn't want to tell you until you were older, but my hand has now been forced, and hope you understand things better," said the Hokage before explaining things to Naruto about the Kyuubi, how the Yondaime sealed it into the boy, and how there is a law about it to keep such a thing quiet from the younger generation. "So that's why the people always glared at me all the time. Called me names. Doesn't that fall into the law itself? It's not hard to put two and two together with half of them," said Naruto while still angry at the old man for keeping this from him for so long and only now was he doing it because of this. "I'm sorry Naruto. I just didn't want them to build up their resentment to the point where they vent themselves violently towards you," said the Sandaime while Naruto shook his head and laughed. "It still doesn't give them the right to hate me. I never asked to have the fox sealed inside of me. Doesn't matter I guess now that I know the truth. I can't wait until I'm fully healed and begin training to be a shinobi," said Naruto while the Hokage looked concerned. "Naruto, I think you might want to hold off on training until we know more about your new body, and just let you take a break until then," said the Hokage while Naruto just growled angrily. "Why? I can train and discover what I can do at the same time. Anko-chan can teach me, observe my abilities if any, and report to you what we know," said Naruto seeing Anko liking the plan right away. "He has a point Hokage-sama. I've seen some of the material the teachers gave him. It's archaic material from the Shidaime Hokage's time," said Anko before telling Kage of the study materials from the academy Naruto brought with him to her apartment and how they would never do in regards to his training. "Very well, I make this a mission Anko so it's all legitimate. As of right now, Naruto will have you as a private tutor, who will teach, train, and instruct him on being a shinobi of the leaf. You will do this on your off time when you're not at the I&T department with Ibiki, and you will test Naruto's skills by giving him missions. I approve of that would normally be considered pranks," said the Hokage knowing that was motivation for the boy and Anko. "So I'd get to prank people without being punished," said Naruto confused by this and wondered if his new body was also in a different dimension. "Yes, Naruto. Some of the pranks you've done over the years have been nothing short of amazing, and until now I realize why that has been the case. Our security has become shoddy, outdated, and most likely stagnant with the same protocols we've used when I was still young. No one has really taken a look at them like you have because unlike the village's enemies or even ourselves for that matter, No one has planned things out to get around them. You have. You've gotten into clan homes. Merchant homes. Even my home when you shaved my son Asuma's beard and glued a long white curly beard to his face. Said the Hokage with Naruto grinning at that one. You can't deny that was a good prank for a little kid, said Naruto knowing it was one of the few he got away with because it was so funny and because the Hokage thought that it would humble Asuma for making fun of his old age. Indeed it was. After Anko has helped you adjust to your new body, as well as reach a certain level of shinobi training, I will then give her targets for your pranks, which as I said before will be considered missions, and what I want you to test. How you prank each target is up to you, but the targets will be done depending on your skills, and if you can prank each target successfully without getting caught. I'll make you an instant Chunin while Anko gets promoted to Special Junin, said the Hokage seeing Naruto and Anko were both shocked by this news. Seriously? No bullshit, said Naruto while wondering how he knew that word, and it was clear the Hokage wanted to know while Anko waved her hand defensively. I didn't teach him that word, said Anko quickly knowing she was considered the most likely suspect. Do you accept Naruto? Said the Sandame while knowing Jiraiya would have to come by sooner than expected to examine the seal just to be sure. Hell yes. Though won't my lack of appearance at the academy will raise questions on where I am. Said Naruto seeing the Hokage nod. I'll take care of it Naruto, said the Hokage with a smile on his face. Good to hear. I'm going to take a nap now. If by chance I meet the fox, I'll ask him what he did, and get some honest answers, said Naruto before dozing off in his hospital bed. Naruto's mindscape. Welcome Kit. We need to talk, said Kyuubi with Naruto looking up at the fox from behind the cage the vulpine animal was sitting behind. No shit. Why am I suddenly cursing? And how do I even know them? Said Naruto before seeing the fox grin at him. That would be my doing. I've basically jump-started puberty for you, so your mind is trying to adjust to this change while processing what I've done with the knowledge in your head being accessed on instinct. Not bad huh? Said Kyuubi with a chuckle. Oh yeah, it's all nice and dandy, said Naruto sarcastically. In any case, you're probably wondering what I did to you aside from the new height increase, attitude, and focused mind. Said Kyuubi seeing Naruto nod. That would be nice, said Naruto hopefully. Well, in short I kind of made you a half-demon, said Kyuubi with Naruto looking at him stunned. Say what? You want to run by me again? Said Naruto with the fox letting out a chuckle. It wasn't meant to change you into a half-demon, but damn your Uzumaki bloodline is just as unpredictable as you are, and what I gave was meant to help you handle my power now rather than later. You were bundle of energy ranked at cage level yet had no way to handle it because of your short height for a 10-year-old, said Kyuubi with Naruto nodding since there was no lying in the fox. Okay, I believe you, but wait, if I'm a half-demon, then shouldn't I have a tail, or ears like a fox? Said Naruto while feeling his head for the ears. They'll come out later when you reach the age you look now. All of your other senses have been enhanced as they should be, but the ears and the tail will be sensitive to the point where handling them now would make things, what's the popular term used by you humans these days, troublesome. Said Kyuubi with Naruto shaking his head. So I handle what you gave me now to prepare for the harder stuff I'm going to learn to handle later, said Naruto with the fox nodding. Yes, also, with this new body, your hormones will be in flux, and you will see things in a much different light than before, said Kyuubi seeing Naruto raise an eyebrow at him. In what way? Said Naruto with Kyuubi letting out a chuckle. Well, let's just say you will be seeing that Anko woman you have for a slave in a much different light, and by different light I mean you will be feeling certain urges when seeing her body. Said Kyuubi with Naruto's eyes widening in surprise. So I'm turned into a half-demon pervert. Great. Just great. This is wonderful. Anko is going to love that. said Naruto with Kyuubi chuckling. You were already a pervert kid. Remember that jutsu you were developing that preys on male perverts, said Kyuubi, having seen the memory of the jutsu Naruto was making to combat such people just for the fun of it. Yeah, well, shut up, said Naruto with Kyuubi letting out another chuckle. You're more amusing than I thought. I'm helping with your body's soreness, by the way. Because of your new body, my power can flow more freely within you without it causing trouble, said Kyuubi with Naruto looking surprised. That's good. The sooner I can train the better, said Naruto with Kyuubi grinning further at this. Good. I will not have you slacking off either. I just put a substantial investment into this body of yours and I won't have it ruined. I have a reputation to uphold after all, said Kyuubi with Naruto just scowling at him. I never intended to slack off. I'm going to be Hokage. This village will be ruled by me one day and I can't be Hokage if I'm some weak shrimp, said Naruto with Kyuubi liking this kid more and more. Agreed. Still, it will be a long and hard road ahead. I intend to help you out from within while your body sleeps, but there is a price, and it will be paid, said Kyuubi with Naruto looking at him cautiously. And what would that price be? Said Naruto with Kyuubi grinning even further. You need to get laid after becoming a shinobi and getting promoted to chunin, said Kyuubi simply. Oh, I see. Get laid after becoming a shinobi and getting the rank of chunin. That's no problem. I can whaat, said Naruto seeing Kyuubi raise an eyebrow at him. I feel what you do to a certain extent. Do you know or have any idea just how long I have gone without rutting with a vixen of any kind that I like? Since I was first sealed into the Shadaime Hokage's wife herself. That was well over a century ago. By rutting with a vixen of your own, I can get my own feeling of satisfaction the same time you do, and make my life less troublesome, said Kyuubi with Naruto growing green in the face. Okay, I seriously did not need to know that. That was gross on so many levels, said Naruto with Kyuubi narrowing his eyes at him. Do we have deal or not? Said Kyuubi impatiently now. Okay, you have a deal, but it has to be with a willing female, said Naruto with Kyuubi looking pleased by this while nodding. That won't be a problem. A little push from the pheromones I trigger throughout his body and the thought of saying no won't be an issue, thought Kyuubi, knowing Anko would be the first for Naruto, but not the last, and it wasn't like the females themselves wouldn't get any pleasure out of the deal. Kyuubi knew a lot about the female body before being sealed away in two vessels that were of the gender and knew the various spots a woman loved to be touched. The fox would ensure Naruto knew this on instinct when the time came to mount his first bitch, and the one Kyuubi had in mind to be the kit's first was Mitarashi Anko herself. Real world. Anko watched the kid sleep when a sudden chill ran through her body. Whether it was a sense of foreboding doom or something else, she wasn't sure. Sure enough, the next 2 years were interesting for Naruto, as he learned from his slave and sensei Mitarashi Anko about being a shinobi. She taught him things the academy wouldn't teach its students, much less the vessel of Kyuubi himself if they did, and thus made things easier in a sense for the Uzumaki. Normally, the academy taught the basics, which it did, and then left the more real-life lessons be taught by a Junin sensei firsthand. Anko herself had no problem teaching Naruto these things, which in most cases of the training involved moving, or get a kunai digging into your flesh for hesitating. Not that Naruto ever hesitated in his actions in life, as he had made a career in pranking where hesitation could lead to getting caught, and it was necessary to move without stopping. His teacher had been brutal in her methods, maybe even on the level of sadistic, though given the nature Anko had long since obtained being under Ibiki's command, and even before that with the woman's previous teacher it was expected. However, Naruto endured Anko's harsh training, not caring about pain, agony, and didn't beg to stop the training when overwhelmed. Naruto was driven to get stronger, better than he already was, and like the Uzumaki told Kyuubi, he had no intention of slacking. Even when Anko called it a day, Naruto wanted more, and ordered her to continue when she told him no. While Anko wanted to train the boy to be unstoppable, as well as get some measure of revenge for being made a slave, she found there wasn't any satisfaction in that when putting the boy through the meat grinder, and wondered why that was the case. If anything, she should be smirking at the sight of her student and master on the ground, at times bleeding from being hurt by the methods in which she taught him. There were even times during the training of the Gaki where Anko thought the kid would fall down, cry uncle, and call it a day, with her being nowhere near done training Naruto to be all he could be for the glory of Konoha. But again, the blonde Gaki surprised her with his resilience, and kept on training to the point where she was becoming worried for his safety with the risk of pushing himself beyond his limits. He even had the nerve to command her, as his slave, to push him to the brink, and when Anko refused the order the first time, Naruto assured the woman that there would be consequences. And there were consequences for Anko when Naruto was feeling better, as she learned firsthand, and further reminding Anko that Naruto was the master. While she was his sensei in being a shinobi, he was the master, and had final say on things. While denying her dango was possibly the first thing on his mind in terms of punishment when this first happened, Naruto heard the Kyuubi talking in his head, and whispered something more, fitting in terms of a proper punishment. The suggestion, you may wonder. Kyuubi suggested a spanking for a punishment. Yes, an actual spanking to the woman's rear end. At first, Naruto looked at the fox in his head like he had grown a second head, 4 extra paws, 3 tentacles, and 5 more tails before the fox explained its suggestion was to place a physical punishment on Anko. A humiliating punishment at that, since denying her dango would only work for so long and should only be used for the more extreme cases if there ever were any. Flashback: Naruto's apartment. "You're not serious, are you?" said Anko, seeing the Gaki had a look on his face that told her he was serious. "I said there would be consequences, Anko. You shrugged it off, thinking it would be a mere slap on the wrist." "Well, you're only half right. Except it won't be on the wrist. It will be on your ass. Now come here, bend yourself over my leg, and take your punishment," said Naruto with authority in his voice, and flared his chakra a bit while tuning it to the collar on Anko's neck to make the woman obey. "Yes, Naruto-sama," said Anko while walking hesitantly and with slight resistance with each step, since the seals on her collar were commanding her body to do it. Without further words, Naruto waited until Anko was bent over his knee while he sat on the new couch they bought after the old one was unsalvageable in cleaning, and raised the woman's skirt up before pulling the panties down to her ankles. Anko herself could only blush with embarrassment, as she was being spanked like a child by this child, who just happened to have a body of a young fit teenager, and passing for a 14 to possible 15-year-old too, despite actually being several years younger. Kyuubi had also slowed down the aging process, so when the boy was that age, his physical appearance would look it, and no one would dispute the claim. Smack, 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 smack. This went on for about 20 minutes until Naruto decided Anko had enough of and stopped before letting the woman recover from the humiliating punishment he had delivered. It felt weird doing that to Anko, but Kyuubi assured him it was necessary, and would thank him later for the suggestion. While for Anko, things were awkward at first between them, but they got past it quickly enough, and Naruto had given her a nice bit of dango to ease the process along the next day. End flashback. When the two weren't training, they were given missions by the Hokage, and the targets were just like the old man said. They targeted clan homes, various buildings, the walls, the outside of the walls where patrols went, and even certain high-ranking shinobi. For the Inuzuka clan, the dogs had their food tampered with laxatives the previous night before bed, and the next day had left the kennels in a complete mess. The Nara clan had their deer tagged with hidden explosive notes filled with paint, which were proximity alert sensitive, and the men of the Nara clan came home looking like they had just been fighting with the Three Stooges in a paintball tournament, with the winner being the Three Stooges. The Akamiki clan had their usual delicacy of foods in their storehouses they owned replaced with rocks and cans of mud. Even worse, their usual place for eating, their sanctuary that was the barbecue restaurant, had a genjutsu over it to make it look like a new Ichiraku ramen stand was opening there soon, and made them wail at the sudden unexpected loss of their home away from home. The patrols going on outside of the village were tripped up, snagged in traps, holes, and basically humiliated to the point where they considered changing their identities to hide the shame. The Hokage got reports, some blaming Naruto since the pranks were right up his alley, and even Anko too since some of them had a mean streak. When the two were finally called in, they of course denied any and all pranks they pulled since they were not around. No one could say they had a hand in the pranks, but it didn't mean people knew if not suspicious, and the Anbu were told to keep an eye on the duo. Like the Anbu could actually stop them. They pranked Maida Guy, Hitaki Kakashi, and even Ibiki himself by going after his ever-intimidating black trench coat that made him all the more frightening. Of course, it didn't make him very intimidating when the color black was replaced with the color of pink and had red roses on it. For Maida Guy, it wasn't that hard, as Naruto just hanged into Kakashi, got a book with the help of Anko, and then challenged him to a race around Konoha, in the NDE. That's right, a streaking match, a test of one's own male pride, not being afraid to bear it all for everyone to see, and to show just how manly they were to the ladies in a youthful manner. They were to meet at a set time, place, of course, unafraid of showing off their manliness, and that the loser of this little contest must be hugged by the winner while the winner is still not. Flashback. This is such a nice day. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and there isn't a single threat to Konoha its shinobi can't handle. Nothing can go wrong, thought Kakashi while reading his perverted book and having an all-around good day. Yosh, Kakashi-san, my hip rival, yelled Guy, who was running towards him, the sound of his footsteps being unmistakable, and the Junin turned to look at man. Only to look upon the green beast of Konoha with horror, as the man was no longer the green beast, but a gnawed one, and Guy was running towards him with a smile on his face. Fearing this was the sign of the world coming to an end, Kakashi did the only reasonable and sensible thing any man could do when another man was running gnawed towards you. However, Maida Guy did not stop running towards Kakashi, as he was determined to hug the copy nin, and make his rival embrace his springtime of youth, no matter what. And Guy had just as much determination as he did energy. "Get the hell away from me, Guy," said Kakashi while running harder and faster than he ever had in his life, with Guy trying to catch up to him. "Yosh, I must hug you, my hip rival. I must awaken your springtime of youth, and it must be done through hugging," yelled Guy, who had increased his speed, and Kakashi found the man gaining on him. "Hell no. Get away, yelled Kakashi, as he ran like he never ran before, and knew the safest place for him was his own home. "I cannot and will not, my hip rival. I must hug you, and I won't stop until I do," yelled Guy, who was nearly upon Kakashi, and the masked Junin dared not look behind him to see the horror that was the gnawed man. "No, stay back, I mean it, no, yelled Kakashi, as he had tripped on a well-placed rock, and Guy had leapt into the air to land on top of his prey. There was no rescue for Kakashi, as no one dared save him from the NKED Maida Guy due to the risk of being hugged by the bizarre man, and be scarred for life. Fighting to defend Konoha from Iwa, Kumo, Orochimaru, a bunch of S-rank missing nin bent on ruling the world, and Kyuubi no Kitsune, no problem. But a NKED Maida Guy in the mood for hugging others like he was with Kakashi. No thank you. End flashback. Needless to say, It had worked out quite well, giving everyone got quite a few laughs, and horrible memories of the monster he created in the process. But it did what was intended, as Kakashi was deathly afraid to leave his house after seeing Guy running towards him nod, demanding to be hugged, and chased the poor Junin all over Konoha. Unless he was with someone other than Guy, Kakashi had no intention of being within arm's reach of the green beast. The copy nin needed Inoichi's help to get the horrifying image of one Maida Guy running towards him, butt-nacked, smiling, and trying to hug the book-reading pervert out of his head. Even then, Kakashi got a restraining order out on Guy, telling the green beast to stay 20 feet away, and only come closer to save his life. It had taken all of Inoichi's memory erasing skills and every Ika Ika Paradise book in the Junin's collection to free him of that horrible nightmarish memory of Guy chasing him through the village in the while trying to hug him. Even then, Kakashi would twitch, shudder, and focus on his book when Guy got within range of him while moving in a disturbing fashion. They even pranked everyone from the Hokage to the clan heads to the councils during an important meeting and then explained how they did it when the Hokage called them in to explain themselves. Many didn't like the prank itself, which involved paint exploding everywhere, getting on just about everyone in the room, feathers falling from the vents that stuck to everyone's body, and finally sticky notes getting all over their bodies with the words, "I got you," on them. While almost everyone was cursing, screaming in rage at the humiliation this had caused them, the Hokage just laughed, and whispered 2 words, "Well done," before explaining who it was that did this under his orders. The Hokage then explained he had ordered them to do it, which made everyone wonder if the man had gone off the deep end, and asked the old cage why he would even order the Kyuubi Jinchuriki along with Anko to do such a thing. The Hokage explained that this was to show them that if this prank were an actual act by a rival village, they would all be dead, and the leadership of Konoha would be in complete turmoil. The paint on all of the bodies in the room was to signify flames from the explosion. The feathers were indicate poison gas, should it ever be used, and the sticky notes were to show where kunai could be thrown by the assassin on any survivors of the first 2 attempts should there be any left. While the shinobi side of the room was impressed despite being hit, the civilians in the room were not, and demanded to know why the boy had not been attending class in the first place. While they had long since enjoyed the fact Naruto was not receiving any kind of education at the academy from the teachers to become a competent shinobi, they did not like him pranking them either, and with Anko of all people assisting in the matter while being his teacher was even less appealing in their minds. They had originally been told by the Hokage that Naruto would not be learning from the academy due to physical changes, which manifested themselves and required time to get under control. That he would learn from a private tutor, who had been made nameless at the time at the person's request to ensure no outside influence affected the teacher, and thus Naruto's own training. While many suspected Kyuubi was the reason behind the change, the Sandaime Hokage had told them that Jiraiya had been summoned to take a look at the seal, and ensure its stability. Of course, Jiraiya had visited Konoha to take a look at the seal, and was surprised to see changes on the boy. Naruto was even more surprised to learn the man was his godfather, which then resulted in the Uzumaki to kick the Sannin several times in the balls once that knocked him over before 3 more times while on the ground, and then told Jiraiya his SS belonged to him now to pay of 12 years of neglect. It was either that or spend the next 12 years getting his balls kicked in every day and thus pissing out blood until the debt was paid. After Jiraiya conceded to the demand in a girly voice, Naruto told him about Kyuubi saying the changes were an investment he made. The Sannin wanted to seal the changes away, but one look from Naruto, and the surprisingly suffocating killer intent he let out told Jiraiya the boy would fight him to the bitter end to prevent any changes made going in reverse of what had recently happened. And the Sandaime Hokage dared not tell Jiraiya of the true relationship between Anko and Naruto given the Sannin's perverse side business. After giving the green light about the seal being intact, the councils, and clan heads had no choice in accepting the Sanin's words about the seal. The man was a seal master, so who were they to question him? They couldn't. They were total idiots if they thought they knew better than him. So Naruto went about continuing his education, learning from Anko, and Jiraiya even lent a hand in giving the kid a book on seals to look into, given his family's history in being experts in the field. Now here they were, 2 years later, with Naruto being a Chunin, and Anko becoming special Junin while being Ibiki's number 2 in his division. The other shinobi around them were surprised when Naruto joined their ranks, much less with the rank of Chunin of all things, and that Anko had trained him, since the Hokage had kept the whole issue hush-hush despite the rumors floating around thanks to the councils. Kakashi glared at the blonde when he learned it was the boy's fault for the prank, which had brought about his horrifying experience with Guy, and vowed to get even, somehow. Though how that was going to happen, the Junin didn't know, and was slightly afraid to try in the event it backfired, with the outcome of Naruto retaliating being even worse than what he recently did. Kurenai was left untouched by the pranking duo, since she had been a Chunin until recently, and was not on Naruto's pranking radar. Either that or Anko had talked Naruto out of it, though which was true the woman didn't know. Asuma had been pranked by Naruto on a smaller scale, yet was still impressive nonetheless by having the Junin's sig suddenly explode after taking several puffs, and ultimately scaring the poor man nearly to death each time, while the Sarutobi now checking his sigs every so often to ensure they wouldn't explode. So how does it feel to finally be a shinobi and Chunin now, Naruto? I imagine at your age, it's something else, and opens a whole new world for you, said Kurenai, while the males, with the exception of Gainier from the boy now legally a man upon becoming a shinobi of the leaf, gave Naruto a glare for his past pranks against them. Good. Though I'll have to prove myself worthy of the rank. I don't intend on flaunting it just to get what I want, said Naruto, while Anko just smirked while biting on her dango this place had. The stuff wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best, and Anko liked only the best. But for now, she would endure it, and enjoy the taste of her favorite treat. That's my job, said Anko, while Kurenai groaned and Naruto let out a chuckle. Many of your former classmates are going to be graduating soon. No one has told them of your transformation and rise in rank above them, though some have tried to find out just how you did it, said Asuma, as he was referring to the rookie of the year Uchiha Sasuke, and the boy was getting suspicious about Naruto suddenly not attending class. I know. Sasuke was pestering me about it the day before my graduation, and Anko's promotion then before doing it again an hour after I got it, said Naruto with a grin. And what did you tell him? Said Kurenai curiously, knowing how the boy didn't like to be told no when demanding an answer. I told him to fuck off, said Naruto with eyebrows being raised in shock, and Kurenai was looking at Anko for the language. What? The kid picked things up around him. I just swear occasionally and look sexy in my attire, said Anko with a grin on her face, while Naruto shook his head. That was something else Naruto had some difficulty handling when he got back to their shared home, as he possessed a body of a hormonal teenager, living with a woman who had no problem wearing little to no clothing, and even less when they slept. It had caused certain parts of his body to awaken, at times, which were difficult to handle since the method of handling them required personal time, alone, and it wasn't enough that he had to put up with Kyuubi telling him to just have Anko take care of it. It was like fighting a secret war on all fronts. Training to get stronger, battling hormones arising from within his body, and the source of these things being the hot sexy shinobi he had acquired in being his slave. His conflict with his body had ended somewhat a year ago, as Anko had discovered his frustrations when she walked into the bathroom to take a shower, only to find Naruto in it, and saw his well-endowed soldier standing at attention. Naruto of course tried to hide it, but it was too big to hide, which the boy blamed Kyuubi with hid meddling, and Anko decided to help him with the frustration he was having. He tried to protest her help at first, but Anko could not be persuaded to stop, and told him to enjoy this while thanking the boy for keeping his hormones under control. A lesser person would have taken advantage of me with this problem if I were their slave, but you showed you're not like them, and more of a man than anyone else I know. Let me do this for you now, Naruto-sama. And so she used her skills to bring him pleasure. It was the first time Naruto had felt such intense pleasure, which wasn't the last time either, as Anko had a feeling about the half-demon body of Naruto's in terms of his libido being much stronger than that of average humans, and the male teenage hormones being added to the mix only made things more difficult. So she told him that despite everything, despite the rules set in place, the woman was willing to help with his needs using her hands, or even mouth if he wished, though Naruto felt that the latter was asking too much. Still, he just had to ask when the need arose until he became a shinobi, and then the Gaki could have her all he wanted in just about every way possible. I'm sure, said Kurenai while Naruto just smirked at the two since they were like sisters and opposites of one another in terms of personality. Anko was a wild woman, who was spontaneous, and almost completely out of control in most cases when it came to things around her. Kurenai was calm, collected, and was in completely control of herself while having the ability to use her beauty only when needed to her advantage on a mission. In any case, I plan to help out with the new Genin teams should they pass the real test you all plan for them, and give a third-party point of view perspective to the Hokage, said Naruto while each Junin looked shocked. Does that count for my team as well? Said Guy since this was the first he had heard of it. Yes. Don't get the Hokage or myself wrong on this, Guy-san. It is just the old man feels that a third-party look at each Genin team will help him see something you're not seeing in regards to possible weaknesses that have yet to be addressed, said Naruto simply, as Guy nodded to regards to his answer, and accepted it. It's actually beneficial for Kurenai too since she's the greenest Junin here. Figuratively speaking, of course, said Kakashi while seeing Kurenai glare at him. I think it will help you the most, Kakashi-san. The Hokage wants me to evaluate your bell test method for your team. If what I tell him isn't good, he'll override your decision to fail the team, and make you a Junin sensei, said Naruto, making Kakashi drop his book in shock. He said that, said Kakashi fearfully. We had a talk about your habits and your record for failing every team you tested. I told him that just because the team didn't use teamwork right off the bat didn't make them bad students. The fact not one academy instructor introduced teamwork made each potential Genin clueless to the true meaning of the bell test, and I basically told the Hokage it was like taking a test without studying. You expect them to somehow learn the meaning of your test using instinct, but that only goes so far, and they have to have this taught to them so it can be used instinctively. It was in fact not the Genin failing the test each time, but the Junin they were hoping to learn under, and it just so happened the Junin, as you, said Naruto, seeing Kakashi seemingly having a mental breakdown at his words before collapsing out of his chair and having a spasm. I think you broke him, said Asuma while snapping his fingers in front of Kakashi's one eye. Oops, said Naruto before laughing at what he did. See that? That is my kick-ass student. I taught him just about everything I know on how to mess with people, said Anko proudly while Kurenai shook her head and Guy wailed on about how Naruto took down his rival. I'll take him to the hospital and have Inoichi fix his mind, again. Come on, Guy, you can take him there while I talk to my father about what happened, said Asuma before taking Kakashi and handing him to Guy before they headed out while the green spandex-wearing Junin was weeping about how his youthful rival was taken down by a freshly made Chunin. I should retire for the night too. I need to think about which Genin I want for my Genin team and learn about them, said Kurenai, as she got up to leave, and saw Anko waving at her while Naruto gave her a mock salute. Take care, Kur-chan. Try to have naughty dreams for a change. It can do wonders for you, said Anko while Kurenai blushed and Naruto snickered. Grow up, Anko, said Kurenai with a glare aimed at the two. Never, said Anko in a comedic defiant tone. I'm dealing with a child in a woman's body, said Kurenai while walking away from them. A sexy woman's body, said Anko with a grin while Naruto did the same. I second that, said Naruto while a look of lust was in his eyes when he saw Anko while the woman stared back doing the same. Want to get out of here, said Anko with Naruto nodding since some of the people were giving them both dirty looks. Absolutely, said Naruto before the two took off. Naruto and Anko's apartment. Naruto waited until the door was shut and locked before pinning Anko to the wall while kissing the older woman aggressively on the lips. Anko didn't mind his aggressive actions due to his demonic nature influencing his libido, and no doubt the sight of two beautiful women around him made the hormonal Gaki want her more. He nipped at her neck, her trench coat falling to the floor, as bite marks were left in places on the right side of the neck, and licking each bite while his hands grabbed her as possessively. Anko herself moaned, cursing Kyuubi for teaching Naruto all the right moves to get her bothered, and was blissfully unaware of the boy's pheromone output increasing since the moment they arrived at the apartment building. Naruto wanted her badly from the tent in his pants, and Anko wanted him too with the way she was grinding against it. You're a naughty fox boy, said Anko moaned after he ripped her fishnet shirt open and attacked one of her tits with his mouth. Damn right, I'm tired of being nice. Besides, you are one to talk about being naughty, being without panties, and teasing me with the view while we were with the others, said Naruto while one of his hands went from Anko's as to her and made the woman gasp when he reached it. You figured me out, said Anko, as she felt him touching her there, and getting wet from his skilled hands. Wasn't hard, said Naruto while attacking Anko's breasts in combination with fingering her pussy. I guess not. Not like this thing you've got here in your pants, said Anko, as her hand grabbed his crotch, feeling his erection straining through the fabric of his pants, and wanting freedom. Bed, said Naruto wondering if she could wait long enough to reach it. Too far. The couch will do for this, said Anko grinning at Naruto, as she didn't care about where she going to rut at the moment, whether it was in the bed, or on floor with the two of them sleeping there in the afterglow of it all. Was to her. My thoughts exactly, said Naruto, as he moved Anko from the wall to the couch with her sitting in it, and his own body on top of her. Working his way down, Naruto with some effort was able to unzip Anko's skirt before throwing it off to the side, and then dived headfirst into the woman's pussy. Anko gasped and moaned from the half-demon's assault on her womanhood with his tongue while he held the woman's hips in place. She was grabbing the armrest tightly with one hand and Naruto's wild blonde hair with the other while his tongue made her toes curl up before screaming at the orgasm that hit with a scream to match. Licking up Anko's juices, which Anko had released quite a bit onto his face, Naruto continued his assault once again, and the oral skills Kyuubi had taught its vessel within his mind during the last 2 years were paying off at the moment. The now promoted special Junin for a slave was at his mercy and in pleasurable agony from the tongue lashing with Anko's eyes rolling in the back of her skull from another orgasm. Stop. No more. Mercy, said Anko, as she cried out from more of Naruto's mouth went to her, and cried out in pleasure yet again. Do you submit? Will you be my slave forever? Said Naruto while slowly moving the tip of his tongue up and down on her wet folds in a sensual motion that was sending shocks through the woman's body. Yes, yes, I'll be your slave forever. I'll do any perverse thing you want, said Anko, as she looked down at the triumphant-looking blonde, and saw him begin to undress. Good, because what I want right now, is to FCK you senseless, and walk with a limp tomorrow for the next week, said Naruto standing in front of Anko in only his boxers now currently sporting an erection behind it. As you wish my master, said Anko, as she shakily got to her knees in front of him, and pulled the boxers down to have his practically smack her in the face. Good. Now SCK me off Anko-chan. Prove you're worthy of having my COC in you time and time again, slave. Said Naruto in an almost evil master-like voice. Yes, Naruto-sama, said Anko, as she took the CCK into her mouth, and using her own oral skills on him. Naruto groaned, as his demon side relished the part of this woman submitting to him, and Kyuubi in the back of his mind feeling the pleasure being better than he hoped to feel. So many years trapped in vessels that cut him off from the world, never talking for more than a few minutes, and even then it was to say they were going to keep the Biju in check to ensure there were no problems with the world. How could they justify that? Humans cause more damage in a few months than a Biju does in that same time frame. Not that it mattered now, as the fox felt the frustration any prisoner feels when locked away leaving him, and made his vessel's body's pheromone output increase to make the woman even hornier. If they were going to go crazy tonight, then Kyuubi wanted this woman to make it memorable, and make Naruto come back for more. You're good at this, Anko. You've definitely got the magic tongue for this kind of thing, said Naruto with a grin on his face that matched the pleasure he felt and put his hand on her head to massage the woman's scalp. If Anko just let out a muffled response he couldn't understand, but Naruto was fairly certain it was a "thank you," and continued him even harder. Naruto moaned, massaging Anko's scalp now to show how much he loved this, and kept doing it to the point where he was close to shooting his load down her throat. Sensing this, Anko was now driven to make that happen, the close proximity to her master, and the additional output of pheromones thanks to Kyuubi made the woman feel compelled to get him off even faster. She didn't have to wait long, as Anko heard him groan, warning her of the impending action of his cum shooting out, and soon felt it within moments with his hand on her scalp tightening while holding the special junin in place. Wow, you shot a lot of your cum down my throat. Now that I think of it, my hands have not touched you for the past 2 weeks, and part of me was beginning to wonder why, said Anko after he had stopped coming, but since there was so much, it landed on her face, and while Naruto breathed heavy for a few seconds before looking down at her. When the Hokage told me about my graduation exam, I knew this would happen soon after we succeeded, and wanted to wait for this moment, said Naruto while smiling with lust in his eyes at Anko. I take it my blowjob was well worth the wait, said Anko hopefully. I would think my answer was obvious, said Naruto with a grin and saw Anko licking her face clean. Grinning at her, Naruto threw Anko front first onto the couch with the woman grabbing the back of it, her SS sticking out, and she looked ready to be mounted. Before Anko could say anything, the head of Naruto's COK was already touching the entrance of her PSSY, and soon the rest of him entered until he was completely in up to the base. The blonde groaned in pleasure, feeling Anko's pussy having no problem accepting his shaft into her wanting hole with no resistance of any kind, or any hymen to indicate she was a virgin. Not that Anko wasn't, as she had admitted to him some time ago that she had that part taken care of by her own hands years ago, and told Naruto all Kunoichi had to when they graduated from the academy for the later years when certain seduction missions were required to be intimate with the target. Oh Kami, this feels incredible, said Anko, as she was feeling her master's auk fill her PSSY to the brim and adjust to his size. We're just getting started, Anko-chan, said Naruto before he pulled back and unleashed a powerful hard thrust forward to earn him a brief cry of pleasure from the woman before repeating the action. Anko was stuck between crying out in pleasure to moaning like a street whore, as she felt the blonde pound her from behind, and being in complete control. Not that she would try to take it from him, as it was clear this boy now man loved to be in control, and if she was honest with herself. Anko liked it that way. He was setting the pace, thrusting hard, fast, and Anko soon felt one hand on her being given the massage treatment. While this happened, Anko's mind was overwhelmed with pleasure, her moaning increased, and any sense of consciousness was leaving. Behind her, Naruto kept on thrusting, and soon felt his need to come fast approaching. To be young again. To find a vixen worthy of mounting and fucking her without mercy. Those were the days, said Kyuubi to himself while remembering his time when Nibi was eating fish and happened to lower her guard when he was in one of his moods, and pounced on the unsuspecting feline. Good times. I'm going to come Anko-chan. I'm almost there, said Naruto, pounding faster, and Anko was now lost in pleasure while only moaning while he kept thrusting into PSSY currently overflowing down her legs. Come, please, Naruto-sama, said Anko while her mind barely had enough brain power to even make the words to that sentence possible. Take it, slave. Take it to signify that your PSSY belongs to my and my CCK alone, said Naruto before letting out a roar and came hard into Anko's PSSY with the woman's muscles in that region milking his CCK for all it was worth when she came just as hard from the final thrust. Anko herself let out a scream of her own, eyes rolling up in the back of her head, neither realizing that some of the seals on the collar of the woman's neck made the key area of her female parts hypersensitive and thus make the pleasure Anko felt to be more potent. This part of the collar's design was made should the master wish to lay with the slave in an intimate setting, depending on the gender regarding the two ranks notwithstanding, and make the coupling extremely pleasurable to further keep the slave content with serving the master for further pleasure. So, good. I feel, said Anko, as she couldn't hold onto the back of the couch due to the pleasure she felt, and let her upper body collapse onto the furniture's sitting cushion while trying to steady her breathing. Any chance of possibly having a chance to catch her breath ended when Naruto suddenly lifted Anko up from behind while he was still inside her pussy, and she had instinctively reached behind herself to wrap her arms up behind his neck. Turning her head to look at him, Anko saw Naruto grinning evilly at her before kissing the surprised woman with an intense passion, and somehow managed to make his way to the bedroom where the half-demon fox sat down on it before letting one of his hands grope her wrist while licking her neck's sweet spot. Anko didn't think Naruto would have this much stamina, but given his body, being that of a hormonal teenage, add in it was a half-demon's body, and the amount of stamina the blonde had from the start should have somehow crossed her mind. Of course, being screwed so intensely by Naruto might have something to do with such facts slipping from her mind. Oh well, she knew now, and if it meant getting pounded by her master like this when in the mood, Anko could let it slide since it wasn't hurting her right now. One more to go, Anko-chan. One more to make you completely mine, said Naruto with a grin on his face and lust in his eyes at the exhausted woman before freeing his erection from Anko's, though it put up a fight while maneuvering to the other hole behind it. Wait Naruto-sama, you're too big, said Anko desperately, but Naruto wasn't listening, as he had used the cum coating his ok to smear her asshole gently, and for a moment, there was nothing. Did he change his mind? Anko, said Naruto simply while Anko still held onto him with what grip she had, which wasn't much due to them both glistening in sweat, and didn't provide much traction. Yes, Naruto-sama, said Anko while trying to look at him to determine his intentions. You have 5 seconds to unclench your SS. After that, I'm going in whether you do it or not, said Naruto, having sensed his slave's resistance. But Naruto-sama, said Anko with the feeling of his CCK touching her there. 5 seconds, Anko, said Naruto before counting down from that. Do you have to? I could suck you off again, said Anko quickly in the hopes of changing his mind. 2 seconds left, said Naruto to Anko with his voice sounding a bit deeper and the lust in his voice getting stronger. I'm going to be sore tomorrow, thought Anko before she felt him enter there and relaxed that part in the effort to make it less uncomfortable. Fortunately, her body was still feeling an incredible amount of pleasure, so the pain wasn't as bad as she expected, and surprisingly after a while Anko felt him moving. She was feeling pleasure from him lifting her up and down while molesting her breasts with his legs, spreading Anko's so his hands could focus on where they needed to go. Anko could feel his tongue on her neck again, attacking the sweet spot there, and gasped when he pinched her nipple hard. She was so lost in pleasure that Anko has failed to sense him moving to the cursed seal her bastard sensei had left to signify he was always with her. In fact, she had become so lost in the pleasure of being fucked in the as that Anko failed to come to the horrible realization that Naruto was focusing on the things responsible for so much of the village's negativity. It was only when she felt his hand leave her breast and refocus its attention on the cursed seal did some form of consciousness lost in the sea of orgasmic pleasure came back to Anko. She tried to speak to him, tell Naruto to leave the cursed seal alone, but the blonde would not be denied his examination of it despite this being the most inappropriate time for him to look, and cried out in pain when she felt his demonic chakra channeled into his fingertips strike the cursed seal. Yes, strike it, stab it, whatever the proper term was. The half-demon fox had attacked the piece of Orochimaru that Anko herself had never found a way to purge it from her body, and now Naruto was assaulting that tainted power with his own. Wretched seal, I sense darkness in it that taints my woman. My woman, I know how to purge you from my slave. Now taint of the one that created you. Die, thought Naruto, as he struck the cursed seal with more of his power, hearing Anko crying out in more pain, but at the same time pleasure was heard in the mix of it, and felt the taint that had been the bane of the woman's existence scream out in pain. Before it was burned into nothingness. Anko didn't know what she was feeling at the moment, as pain from being in the pleasure from the SSFC King, and finally the pain from her FC King asshole she had for a lover attacking the cursed seal had blurred together. She was pretty sure an orgasm had rocked her body at some point, though when was hard to determine now, and Anko could feel Naruto refocusing on FC King hers again with more gusto in wanting to come after feeling hers tighten from the pain he had unleashed when going after the cursed seal. Depending on what he did, I may or may not kill him, thought Anko, as she felt Naruto come inside hers while surprisingly feeling an orgasm herself from the assault before it became too much, and the woman fell into unconsciousness. The next day, Anko awoke in the late morning, cursing Kami for making the sun so damn bright, and finding herself on the bed with the sheets covering her gnawed form. She heard the sound of the shower running, meaning Naruto had awoken, and decided to clean himself up after last night. Damn, they had a wild and crazy night. To think Anko had the strangest dream when asleep. She was getting fucked by Naruto, which was enjoyable to say the least, and then big bald Gaki has the nerve to go after the cursed seal. What a trippy dream. She needed to lay off the dango with the special spices that dreadlocked guy was selling that time at the dango shop Naruto had gotten for her that one time since they were rare. Groaning, Anko got out of bed, not finding herself sore despite remembering enough of last time to recall taking Naruto's size into her SS, and eventually moaning out like some common whore at night in the red light district of Konoha. Figuring Naruto used his power to heal her, as he had taught himself in the event Kyuubi's chakra was unable to over some kind of complication, Anko made her way to the bathroom, not caring for any form of clothing since it didn't matter all things considered, and looked herself over in the mirror. And froze. Looking at where the cursed seal had been, the special Junin saw the mark that told everyone she had been Orochimaru's student at one point in time was gone, and there was mark to remind her of it either. The skin was smooth like the rest of her body with no scar to remind her of the seal or anything that would indicate something had been there before now. It was then Anko did the only thing she could do when the revelation of what had indeed happened last night did in fact occur and was not a crazy dream like she had first believed when waking up this morning. Anko screamed. She screamed a girly scream that would practically ruin her reputation in being one of the toughest kunoichi in all of Konoha if by chance anyone just outside of this very bathroom found out about her voice being the source of such a sound. "Something wrong," said Naruto, having finished his shower just moments before the vocal sound left Anko's mouth and saw the sight of the woman in front of him. "Why you took it away?" said Anko while turning her body more so she could see her back in the mirror. "It was a mark telling me that you belong to someone else." "Is removing that thing a problem?" said Naruto with a raised eyebrow. No, of course not. I'm just surprised you were able to remove it." "How?" said Anko with Naruto smirking at her and putting a towel on around his waist. "One of the basic things about seals I learned from the book Arrow Sennin gave me helped explain how they work. The curse seal was full of basic principles of command codes written into the ink, but yours had nothing complex to make it fundamental purpose one puts into the code to work, which is probably why it never worked in the first place, and I simply broke down the code within the seal using my chakra," said Naruto simply while seeing the woman looking at it with disbelief before turning to face him and kneeling at his feet. "Naruto-sama, I am forever grateful for this, as you freed me of the pain that bound me to a cruel man, and now I am forever free of him. If I were not your slave, I would wish to be it right now, and to serve you with my body. To make myself your bitch, to take me no matter where we are, or whenever your heart desired me," said Anko, as she looked up at him, and saw Naruto looking at her with lust in his eyes. "I sent a message to Ibiki earlier this morning that you're taking the day off today from work for personal reasons. I sent the same type of message to the third Hokage, so there is nothing short of the village being invaded to cause us any interruptions," said Naruto before removing his towel with his erection now in front of Anko with a clear sign of what he wanted from her current position. Without another word spoken, Anko performed her task, as the shicking sound made from giving him a blowjob echoed throughout the room, and the continuous moans of pleasure that followed from the act. It was going to be a long day. Hokage TOWER 3 weeks later. "You do realize they weren't ready for a C-rank mission, right?" said Naruto seeing the third Hokage Sai and Iruka giving him a glare for questioning the elderly Kage's actions regarding mission assignment. "I was hoping that an out-in-the-field mission would force Team 7 to be a functioning team since D-ranked missions weren't working." Naruto. "Sadly, Uchiha Sasuke is not willing to work well with others unless it's for more power. His kunoichi teammate Haruno Sakura is basically cannon fodder, and this boy named Sai as well, possibly mentally disturbed in regards to social interactions," said the Hokage while wondering if his mind was going bad in his old age. "How did they even pass?" said Naruto having seen the Hokage look uneasy. Hitaki Kakashi kind of felt pity on them and decided to put them through the last resort for showing some kind of teamwork. Though that only worked because Sasuke was tied to the post and Sakura gave her food to the boy despite Kakashi telling her not to give it to him, said the Hokage with Naruto sighing. "So why just send me? Why not send a Junin or a few Chunin to wave to back them up?" said Naruto since he saw the Hokage looking even more uneasy. "While you are ranked Chunin, we both know that you are high Junin level if not low Anbu thanks to Anko's training, and your unique changes 2 years ago that allowed this to happen. Sending you will help appease some people wanting to protect the eyes of Uchiha Sasuke in order for him to activate the Sharingan," said the Hokage with the blonde nodding. "Meaning these people want the Uchiha to have the power to control me. Bunch of power-hungry FCKERS, thought Naruto while hoping these guys get cancer or something equally embarrassing that made them suffer. In any case, you will provide backup for Team 7, and Naruto, try not to cause too much damage, all right?" said the Hokage with Naruto grinning. "No promises. Besides, Mizuki was the one responsible for blowing up that building I was in while he tried to escape with the forbidden scroll of sealing," and seek to gain the means of absolute power from ancient secrets best not used by others. I just so happened to trick him into having exploding tags out when he tried to steal it back after I stole it back from him. It's not my fault the guy was a gullible idiot into thinking the tags weren't primed when I flared my chakra. You think he'd know they would be triggered by such a thing? Said Naruto with the Sandaime Hokage letting a smirk appear while ignoring the fact he left out the part where the forbidden scroll just happened to coincidentally roll open to the spot where the shadow clone jutsu was located. It was also not Naruto's fault that he just happened to look and learn the shadow clone jutsu to further help him in his many endeavors. Anko most certainly didn't complain when he put it to good use in the bedroom, and Naruto was fairly certain he had spoiled her for any other man if one ever had the means of touch his slave in such a way. Perhaps, but the client for this mission is a bridge builder, and apparently making a very important bridge to connect his country to the mainland. If it gets blown up, it's coming out of your pay, said the Hokage with Naruto looking pissed. Regardless if I'm not the one responsible, said Naruto with the Hokage nodding. It's either that or no ramen until the bill is paid for damages to it should there be any when it's over, said the Hokage with Naruto looking even angrier. Oh, that is some bullshit. So you're saying if Kakashi blows up the bridge before I get there, then I'm fitting the bill, and he's not? Said Naruto with the Hokage shifting in his seat. Whatever gets you there faster, said the Hokage knowing the boy would move quicker than anyone around to prevent that. Has anyone ever told you how much of an asshole you are, old man? Said Naruto with Iruka sputtering and ready to fall over from a heart attack. Watch your mouth, brat, said Iruka while the Hokage just chuckled. Perhaps. Still, it works when needed, said the Hokage with Naruto smirking. All right, fine, but in the event the bridge doesn't get destroyed, then I get paid 3 times the going rate for this mission, and since it's now an A- ranked mission, well, said Naruto with a grin on his face that made the Hokage nervous. Shit, said the Hokage knowing this little agreement between them with a whole give and take policy with conditions being set between them while certain criterias were met on missions taken. It was like betting in all but name, and Naruto kept winning every single time. Have the money ready when I get back, said Naruto before he was gone in an instant out the window. He's going to destroy the budget for the village if I keep this up, said the Hokage since the boy had won every single time. If that's the case, then that means there won't be a new teacher's lounge with all of the anti-annoying brat seals we wanted so much. Our sanctuary will be lost to us for Kami knows how long. No, thought Iruka at the horror of it all and fell over with his soul slowly trying to leave his body. Only for the Hokage to grab and put it back in. They had work to do after all, and death would be too merciful for anyone right now. With Naruto and Anko. But I don't want you to go, said Anko, as she was clinging to his leg while Naruto was moving one leg at a time to get his gear to head out, and trying to occasionally shake the woman off of him. Wish I wasn't going either, Anko-chan, but orders are order, and I have to bail out Team 7 from a death on their first C-rank mission, said Naruto while hearing Anko whining, acting like a child losing her favorite toy, or being punished for something she did. Though that was Anko's way by nature. Fine, but I want dango and lots of it when you get back, said Anko pouting when she finally let go of him. If you keep acting like a child, I'll spank you like a child, and give you nothing upon my return. Not even the you like so much, said Naruto seeing Anko go pale in fear. Anko-chan will be good. I'll be on my best behavior, Naruto-sama, said Anko like a child, as she held onto his leg again, rubbing her face against it, and giving him her, I'll be a good girl, face to appease him. I'll hold you to it. If you really are on your best behavior, I'll give you all the dango, and your body can handle, said Naruto while petting the woman on the head. Yay, that's why you are the best master ever, said Anko before skipping along out of the room to do whatever it is Well, she did when not in his line of sight. Naruto just sighed before heading out. He had a dumbass team to save.